Hey folks, Real Honesty with John Ritlin. I'm John Ritlin. These are my 10 least favorite wrestlers in WWE. Also one from the Mae Young Classic. I'll get to that in a minute. But these are ones that these are talented for a variety of reasons, whether I find them boring, whether I simply can't stand them. These are ones that I just don't like. And I'm just going to come right out and say it. There will be rants, especially later on this countdown. So I know you guys like my angry rants. So expect a couple on some of these talents. Some of these I will try to offer at least one positive before I get into the massively negative rant. Anyway, number 10, Nia Jax. She does not deserve to be fat-shamed. Let me say that much here. She does not deserve to be fat-shamed. Whether she's a bigger girl, bigger woman, smaller woman, doesn't matter. Apparently she's fat-shamed at her, in the WWE locker room. Of course, those are just rumors. If that's the case, that is ridiculous. She should not be fat-shamed. Should she be shamed because of her work? Because her work is kind of eh? Yeah, sure, okay. She should be shamed for thinking that she's a bit of a bigger star than she really is and talking to her cousin Dwayne, aka, of course, The Rock. She's not happy with her spot and he tells her to leave, if that's the case. If that's actually what happened, then Nia Jax gets knocked down quite a few pegs because you can't play that card. I mean, sure, The Rock is probably one of the only reasons, if not the only reason, she's even in the WWE. But playing that card is absolutely ridiculous. Plus, she's been booked at times decently, but her cardio and other stuff is still not that good. She had like one flash of like greatness or like, at least decentness in that like short gauntlet match that they did where she ended up tapping out Sasha Banks. I think it was right before SummerSlam. And that actually, she did some pretty good dominant stuff. She went through a few superstars, and that was fine. But honest to God, Nia Jax just simply bores me in the ring. She has a few flashes where she does decent, but yeah, that and the attitude issues. I mean, again, she doesn't deserve to be fat-shamed, but I just don't find her that interesting. When I see her in a match, I'm like, okay, she's gonna get counted out or stuff like that. They're going to build her up like a monster. Look, she could appear on my bets list sometime, for next year or even 2019, but she's got to get a lot better in the ring. Number 9, Sin Cara. I just don't find him interesting. I'm glad his leg was not busted, and during that European tour, the UK tour, that he did in a match with Baron Corbin. That's great. Sin Cara is a good athlete and a good worker, but I have not been interested in what him or Kalisto have done for like a number of years. I didn't even really find the Lucha Dragons all that entertaining, but I understood why they were over. And look, Sin Cara is just not that interesting. He's just not. Again, good athlete, don't really care. Number 8, Kalisto. Pretty much the same thing. Kalisto's tremendous in the ring. They got me to cheer for Kalisto for a little bit when he beat Enzo Amore for the Cruiserweight title for like about 13 days. That was crap. But he's been booked like shit. A lot of people forgot he was even part of the company until they put him back with the Cruiserweight division, because otherwise he was getting beat up by Braun Strowman or getting beat up by other people, and he's never going to be Rey Mysterio. They need to stop booking him like that. Book him as the first Kalisto, not the next Rey Mysterio. Because it's not like Rey Mysterio was ever booked all that well for a lengthy amount of time in any kind of main event slot. Book Kalisto, good cruiserweight talent, where he can hashtag do a good lucha thing, do good lucha things. Oh, God damn it, woo! Yeah, Kalisto's never going to live that one down. And no, of course, I mean, I'm not saying this because he blocked me on Twitter. I understand why he blocked me on Twitter. I never tweeted directly at him, but I'm sure he probably didn't like the jokes I made. Let me make it clear. I don't hate Kalisto. I don't hate the guy at all. I wish him the best. I hope he succeeds. I think he's pigeonholed in the role here, where he's just going to be a guy he might have some good matches now, but he'll mainly just be there to put people over. And it's sad because he's a really good athlete, but I haven't been interested at all in anything Kalisto has done outside of him being Enzo for the Cruiserweight title for like a couple weeks. Other than that, anytime he was ever on TV, I enjoyed watching him get beat up. So I guess by that virtue, maybe he's doing something right. Anyway, number 7, the Singh Brothers. The Singh Brothers, Bollywood boys, are incredible athletes. Incredible athletes. Great story about them coming to WWE doing some great things, and they have. They have been able to live out their dream. They honored, I believe it was their grandfather, if I remember right, their grandfather who was blind and was able to hear them make their debut in WWE, like it's Cruiserweight Classic, and that's great. That is honestly great. And the Singhs joining with Jinder, at first I was all for it. Blooms out the rose now. The Singhs deserve a better chance. Like, whenever I see them, I just get annoyed. And I get actively annoyed because it's like watching midget wrestlers try to compete against the big boys. And look, the Singhs are great bumpers. I mean, they've taken some bumps that I wouldn't even dream of taking. I can't imagine a lot of wrestlers would dream of taking. They have done right by the company, and thankfully the company seems to be keeping them around despite rumors. That's great, because they're really good athletes. Either keep them on SmackDown or move them to Raw and have them be a good team. Have them be a heel team at first, and then morph them into being a babyface. The Singhs can be a really good team. Now, it sounds like I'm putting them over. I'm really annoyed every time they're on TV, honestly, because I see them as potential there. But also, I'm just incredibly annoyed whenever they appear, because I know then Jinder's going to win via shenanigans, or they're going to do the same damn things that they've been doing for the last 6 months, and people wonder why it's not getting over. It's because you can't repeat the same damn thing all the time on network television. You could do it when there was less television, like the NWA or even WWE, because not everybody got to see it all the time. Now, with how much TV there is, I mean, every single week, no, it's just, you can't do that. The Singhs are really good athletes. I've been annoyed with them with Jinder since probably, I would say, about Battleground. And that's really sad. They deserve better. But still, I'm always annoyed when they're on TV. So a fresh coat of paint perhaps will change that. Number 6, Shayna Baszler. Look, she's only there because Ronda Rousey's her friend. I mean, I'm sorry. Do I know if Shayna Baszler's a bad person? I'm not going to assume any of that about her. I don't know. Shayna may be one of the nicest people out there, and she seems like she's dedicated to trying to get better in the wrestling business. And I mean, for her age, I think she's 36, 37 now. For her MMA background, this kind of stuff, it's a different transition from going from MMA to, sports entertainment pro wrestling, or from going from sports entertainment pro wrestling to MMA. See Mr. 2 minutes 14 seconds CM Punk. And I love CM Punk. He got freaking smoked. And I knew he was going to get smoked. But anyway, back to Shayna Baszler. I wasn't that impressed with her in the Mae Young Classic in the first match she had or the last match she had against Kairi Sane. I get why they had Shayna versus Kairi Sane, David versus Goliath aspect. And that sort of worked, but at the same time it didn't, because you had to have Kairi carry that match. To me, my personal opinion. And I get why some people like Kairi Sane and why some people don't. And I get that, and that's great. I'm all for healthy discussion and everything. But with Shayna, I just don't see it. I just don't see any potential there. I don't see any chance of her getting much better. Will she get better? Sure. I mean, you would have to try really, really hard to not get better in the ring from coming up from nothing. See Eva Marie, for example. Well, Eva Marie couldn't really wrestle, but anyway. Had Eva Marie wrestled in 2017, by the way, she would have already been right at the top. Thankfully, she didn't. She's gone from the company, and we're all better for it. Sorry, she just wasn't cut out for the wrestling business. Shayna Baszler, though, I don't see it. I just, honest to God, don't see it. Can she get better? Hopefully. But I was bored by her. I was bored. Her offense is her. Besides the rear naked choke that she got, that was really about it. I mean, other than that, I mean, her moves were very basic and not really that great. Jazzy Gabbard, Alpha Female, did a much better job being booked like a monster in that tournament. Even though she only lasted a couple matches, she was done pretty well. I would have had her versus Kairi Sane. I think you could have had a better dynamic there. Fortunately, they didn't. Oh well. Anyway, number 5, Tamina. If Tamina's last name wasn't Snuka, she wouldn't be in the company. Now, she lost her dad. However people feel about Jimmy Snuka, myself included, that is still the man that she knew as her dad. It is terrible that she lost him, and especially in such a way where he was so sick and she had to watch her father fade away. That is certainly not something I would wish any child to deal with, or any person that is dealing with a loved one to go through. I certainly wouldn't wish that. That being said, speaking of just her career, I can't name one spectacular thing she did besides her and the Usos debuting against Natty and Hart and the Hart Dynasty. Davey Boy Smith Jr. and Tyson Kidd. Besides that, I can't name really anything of note that Tamina ever did. She's been injured a lot. I remember she was on that Beast in the East special like almost two and a half years ago against Nikki Bella and God, I don't remember who else. It was Nikki Bella and somebody. I mean, I'm sorry if I don't remember. It was like Beast in the East was fun, but it wasn't great. The whole point is Tamina was there, and it's like after that, I think Tamina was injured after that. She's finally being used, I guess, a little bit better. Lana's kind of her manager, which that's probably the better choice. Even though Tamina's not great in the ring, it's better to have Lana with her. But Tamina just isn't. She's not good. She's 40, 41, and is not that good. And that's not to be ageist. There are some women that wrestle great into their late 30s, early 40s. And better than some of the men, because there are some men that flame out by their mid-30s. But Tamina is just not that good, and she's not going to get any better. I've never been impressed when I've seen her on TV. I just never have. And that's not saying she's a bad person. I don't know. I've just never been impressed when I've seen her in the ring. Number 4, Dana Brooke. And I'm going to, again, positive, and then I'm going to go into the rant. Dana Brooke lost her boyfriend earlier this year. Terrible thing to lose your loved one like that. Dana seems to be trying to get better. The problem is it hasn't translated to shit. She can't cut a goddamn promo. She can't do a fucking match at all. Ooh, she can do a fancy cartwheel in her entrance. Hooray, Dana! You did a great job, Dana. I found a hole in your game, Asuka. I found out that if I beat you in the beginning, you will not be able to beat me. That is what I'm going to do. Yes. It's robotic. Now, could that be chalked up to creative, scripting people too much? Yeah, sure. Look at what they did with Ruby Riott, Liv Morgan, and Sarah Logan on a recent edition of SmackDown, which I actually believe was the episode that happened a few days ago, and I'm recording this, by the way, on December 3rd. So if this isn't uploaded for a day or two, that's why. But scripting the talents too much is ridiculous, but I'm sorry. Dana just doesn't have it. She doesn't have the ability to wrestle in the ring. She hasn't gotten much better. Sure, was she called up from NXT too soon? Yes, her and Emma were a great pairing. Dana was starting to get a little better, not great, but he was starting to show a little bit of, flashes of like, okay, maybe WWE was smart enough to sign her. All that's gone away. She just can't wrestle. She's jobbing out left and right, and she should be. She should be. Now, if she can weather the storm, if this is just a way to test her and she comes out the other side better, great. But anytime I see her, I laugh. Sorry, I laugh because she's not interesting in the ring. She's not interesting on the mic. I don't think she's a bad person at all. I just laugh every time I hear her music. I'm like, she's gonna get beat. And it's pretty scary to think that her best match of her career was one of her first, and that was against Asuka at TakeOver Respect. And it was in October 2015. Now, a lot of that could have been chalked up to Asuka doing some selling, but Dana at least seemed to, Asuka was able to work her through that. After that, it's all been downhill. And it seems to continue sliding downhill. Dana Brooke's laughable. She just is. As of this present time, as a wrestling character, as somebody in the ring and on the mic, she is laughable. Can she get better? I don't think she can. I hope she can, for her sake, because I certainly don't want her to be without a job. But she's just not that interesting. Number 3, Big Cass. I was all for Big Cass splitting from Enzo, kicking him in the face, going on some big run, and then he blows his knee out. Now, that's unfortunate, despite the fact that Big Cass supports, somebody that I certainly don't support. I did not wish injury upon the guy. I feel bad for him. I really do. Big Cass hopefully can recover. Hopefully can be back before Mania. Maybe, if he can have a miraculous recovery by, say, February. Maybe. Just maybe. I mean, I don't think it's possible, but maybe if it's late February and he's recovered, they can put him at least in the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal, maybe have him win that, if they decide to have the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal. Way to get everybody on the card and everything. They've done such great things with the previous winners, like, you know, Cesaro and Big Show and Mojo. And who the hell was the other one? Baron Corbin won the 2016 edition. Oh, God, Baron Corbin did win the 2016 edition. I totally forgot about that. That's actually probably the best one that they did. Because at least they used it to promote a big up-and-coming superstar. Anyway, Big Cass, after Big Cass, you know, beat up Enzo, you know, revealed that he was Enzo's attacker, his theme is not that good. His promos took a major nosedive, which could be chalked up to bad creative, or just the fact that he just didn't seem that interested. Now, was he a good heel? He, at least, for a big guy hitting a pretty mean big boot, yeah, okay, he sort of worked there, but he seemed to really be slacking off on the working out. And I'm wanting to talk about that, but that guy got noticeably softer, you know, pardon the pun, not S-A-W-F-T, S-O-F-T, like soft in the midsection, soft in the chest. Maybe he had a previous injury that he was working with, but he looked like he got lazy in the ring, sloppy in the ring, and I lost so much interest so quickly with him, thinking, oh, maybe it'll be a great idea and he could possibly challenge for the Universal title maybe at Mania 34. I mean, even if he hadn't suffered the injury, there's no way. That was such craziness that I decided to talk. Yeah, I found Big Cass so uninteresting right after that turn with Enzo, when I thought that would be at least the start of a launching pad. And it wasn't. Number 2, Enzo. I hate him. I hate him. I hate him. I hate Enzo. I don't hate Enzo to the point I want him to die. I don't hate Enzo to the point I want him to, you know, catch a disease. I don't hate him that much. Okay? But as a wrestling character, as a wrestler, he's crap. As a wrestling character, now, and I give WWE full credit in the world. All the full credit, you know, all the full credit. They managed to get me, a 32-year fan, you know, 36 years old, but 32 plus year fan. They managed to get me so angry that I wanted to see Enzo get the shit beat out of him. And I hope it happens every single damn week. I hope Enzo gets the crap beaten out of him to the point that they finally write him off TV as far as a wrestler. Keep him as a mouthpiece, because he is certainly good at getting heat on that. on you know, the various people that he's working with, like the unfortunate cruiserweights. And that's my problem. They're taking the cruiserweight division, the 205 Live concept being on after SmackDown was pretty ridiculous. They should have obviously filmed it before SmackDown. But my big issue is that Enzo, you got all these big, great cruiserweight talents, and you give the title to Enzo, and you got people that are leaving. I mean, Neville may be coming back, but the whole point is you have all these talents that can work matches so much better than Enzo, and I mean really work stuff. And some of them, they can do promos if you give them a chance. Apologies, by the way, folks, got some allergies here. Enzo can work a stick like very few others. Gross. Phrasing, should have thought about that. But Enzo just isn't that good in the ring. He's just not. He is like, he's repetitive. He can't really do much of anything. I mean, he can sell his ass off, I'll give him that much credit, but that's all he can do. He can't really execute a wrestling hold, he can't really do anything, he doesn't know what he's doing. So, Enzo's just trash. Enzo's absolute shit. Absolute, complete shit. And he is ruining the Cruiserweight division. Granted, Creative is doing just as much of that, but he is completely ruining the Cruiserweight division. He has made 205 Live irrelevant, totally irrelevant, and that was intentional, by the way. I just hate him. I just hate this guy on my TV so much. I don't hate him to where, again, I want disease or death to happen to the guy. I don't. He is playing a wrestling character at the end of the day. But at the same time, he doesn't seem to really respect the wrestling business. I mean, he's good at getting heat, and I will give him that much credit. And fans that are still cheering for him, which, by the way, if you're watching this show, great if you like Enzo still. Cool. Not going to fault you guys for that at all. And I'm sorry, by the way, for my voice, but Enzo is just one of the biggest piles of shit that have ever been in the wrestling business. As far as a character, I hate the fact that he is Cruiserweight champion. It is baffling. Guy's a fucking idiot. And if somebody takes him out, and I mean kayfabe, I don't want anybody to legit injure the guy, unless he legit injures somebody, and then that person should be allowed to come right back and hurt him. But I want him out of the ring. Keep him as a manager. He can do great as a manager, but as a wrestler, you might as well take that cruiserweight title, throw it in the goddamn trash, set the trash can on fire, and that's it. That's it. Just do that. Because that's basically it. It's worse than what Medusa did with the women's title on that episode of Nitro in December of 95. Because Enzo is actually a bigger pile of shit. And shitting over a title more than Medusa did. And Medusa and Vince at least came to an impasse. So anyway, my final one, Jinder. I give credit for Jinder for working hard. Which could be, because of supplements. I don't know. He hasn't had a failed test yet, that we're aware of at least. But it is kind of weird, though, that he hasn't wrestled as much on TV since losing the title to AJ. Yet he's still allowed to appear on TV, and he got taken off the Survivor Series. Could that be a possible way for the wellness thing to happen? Maybe. I mean, I don't know. I don't think there would be anything like that. I don't know if WWE could really skirt around that, but who knows. Anyway, the whole thing is with Jinder is he should have never been WWE champion. Should have never been. He jobbed to Cesaro. He jobbed to Cesaro at Fastlane. Got knocked around by Rob Gronkowski of the New England Patriots at Mania, and got tossed out of the ring in the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal by Mojo Rawley. And nothing against Mojo Rawley, who is not on this list, by the way. Mojo winning the Battle Royal was cool and everything. But then Jinder, he ends up injuring Finn Balor, which is kind of accidental. That was just an accident that happened. I'm not going to blame Jinder for that. I'm not going to blame Finn for that. Accidents happen. And then he's moved to SmackDown. And then he's just shot way the hell up. And, I mean, cue the juicing jokes, but seriously, this guy, after jobbing at the at Mania 33 on the pre-show, the next pay-per-view that SmackDown has, he wins the WWE Championship. They did no build for it. It just suddenly they did it, and it was stupid. Now, Randy was certainly not an interesting champion by any stretch of the imagination, but Jinder being the champion and then beating Randy at Backlash, at Money in the Bank, at Battleground, and then beating Nakamura at SummerSlam and Hell in a Cell. See, that's what bothered me. He wants to beat Orton, okay, whatever. Should have lost it to Nakamura. But, they're trying to keep him looking strong. They're doing this old school heat thing. See, here's the problem. His promos aren't any good. His matches are a little bit better than his promos, and that's not saying much. That's thanks to the Singhs bumping for him, even though I got really annoyed by the Singhs. Jinder just can't work as champion. Thankfully, he's not, as of this recording, because it's December 3rd, and Clash of Champions is actually 2 weeks from now, so I will say this much. If Jinder happens to win the title back at Clash of Champions, and it's one of the biggest blunders that WWE's ever had, and then he'll certainly have earned this rightful place. As of now, he's up here at number 1, because he never should have been WWE champion, and he was a joke. He's a damn joke. Damn joke as a champion. Is the man himself a joke? No, apparently he's a nice guy, and that's good. But Jinder as WWE champion was an absolute travesty. Absolute car wreck. Please never have it happen again. Only have good people win the WWE Championship. And I don't mean just good people, like as far as good-natured people. Whether they're a good heel, good face, just have them be good in the ring. So anyway, that's what I gotta say. Those are my 10 least favorite wrestlers in WWE, NXT. What do you guys say? Do you guys agree, disagree, think I was too harsh with these rants? Well, I went a little longer this time. This is actually my second time shooting this because I wanted to make the rants better. Anyway, like, share, comment, subscribe. Twitter links in the description. It's been Real Honesty with John Ritland. I'm John Ritland. I will see you all soon.